everybody, and welcome to the Spacejumper podcast. My name is Jared, and I am your host. I am your ho. Today, I have a very special guest, one of my good friends, one of the nicest people that I know, somebody who would pretty much do anything for anybody that ever asked, Mr. Oscar Benitez. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty solid. Glad to have you here, or glad to be here, actually.
Well, hey, it's a good day, and I'm glad that you made it. It's Friday. Oh my God, I'm so happy it's Friday. I had a busy week. It was back to back the whole week.
Yep.
But today we are actually doing something a little special. So right here I have a box of crumble cookies. I already cut them in half and portioned them out. But yeah, this is their loadout for the day. By the end of it, I want you to have a ranking of 1 through 6, and 6 being your least favorite and 1 being your most favorited, your highly favorited. But yeah, so we got our coffee and we're ready to go. But like I said, thank you for doing this and thank you for making your way over here. Oscar and I, we met each other a couple years ago, and ever since then we've been really good friends. We met in science because that's our jobs. We have the same roles, and yeah. So I met him, and I was like, this is a good guy here. So we've been friends ever since. And I think the first time we met, you had some extra. What are they called from?
The quinamons from Common Bond.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you have never tried them, try them and put them in the microwave for about 15 seconds.
15 seconds. If you do more than that,
and
you're screwed.
It is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so why don't we go ahead and get started? Actually, why don't we get started on these cookies here? Which one is first? Which one do you think that we should test out first?
So we have to test the same one together,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
We have milk chocolate chip. We could start with the base layer. I feel like the base would be a milk chocolate chip. So I'm going to go ahead and grab
classic.
one of these. Yeah.
Yep.
And we have our, what is it, Nespresso coffee?
I'm a dipper, so I like dipping stuff either in milk or coffee. But I'm a dipper.
I should have got some milk for us, but I knew that I better not.
That's thick.
She thick, boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent. An excellent cookie. And honestly, you can't really go wrong with chocolate chips.
No.
So while we're doing this, why don't you go ahead and tell blah blah blah. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what it is that you do and a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a bit of a jack of all trades.
Okay.
But if we want to go by, trade, kind of like you said, we met through the scientific community. We work in cancer research. So been there for a couple of years now. It's been pretty awesome. And I got it through my bachelor's of science and biology, graduated from HBU. And the reason I say I'm a jack of all trades, I do more than that. I love working on cars. I've been doing that for a long time. And I like doing anything that really involves my hands. I mean, you've kind of seen, one day I'm working on a car, one day I'm splitting cells, another day I'm like building a door. So anything that I can get my hands on, like I've always been like a curious person. So those are like kind of like my 3 top hobbies. And we can't forget that I love to cook. I love cooking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I have test tasted a couple things that you had brought for lunch.
Yep.
Man, yeah, you I think you made some lobster pasta one time, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah.
So good.
That the majority of the time at work, all we did was eat.
Let's not tell Sean that. But yeah, man, that's really cool. Well, so what was your upbringing like, and how did that shape your identity and who you are?
So I actually come from a really small town in Mexico.
Okay.
In its name, it has the word small, which is
Pequeño.
Chico.
Oh, okay.
Chico.
Chico.
Pequeño also counts too.
Okay.
But it's called Palmar Chico. So if anybody's watching from my hometown, we made it to Spacejumper podcast. So it's a super small town. I mean, you're talking about, no more than 250 people at the time. So it's very small, very Catholic, very conservative, very like macho culture, like the man is a provider, the woman only belongs in the house kind of thing. But that had a lot to do with like the way I was brought up and stuff. And obviously, like, a lot of like the handiness that I do and all these things with building things with my hand just came from like physical labor. You know, ever since I can remember, we were working with cattle and things like that.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I come from like ranch life. So,
Wow.
yeah, my grandpa was, you know, kind of like the PBR here with the, you know, how they ride the bulls and stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
that's been kind of like a long time thing within my family. So it came from like generations, you know, like my grandpa, my dad, some of my uncles and stuff on my dad's side of the family. And so I grew up kind of around that environment, you know, like the cowboys and all that stuff,
Right.
the bulls, and it
So-
was a lot of hand labor.
At what point did you end up in Houston? Like, how did you end up here?
So Houston became home officially in 2001. Yep, and Houston's been home since then. Fell in love with it. A lot of culture shock. Obviously, I didn't speak
Yeah.
a lick of English.
What? I didn't know that. What?
Yep,
You're so fluent now.
yes. Yep.
Wow. How old were you in 2001? Let's
I
see.
think I was, I want to say 9 or 10.
Okay. So you've had that time to kind of grasp everything. I mean, because like you're so fluent. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I thought that was your native thing.
Nope. English is actually my second language, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
So was English tougher than Spanish in your opinion? I mean,
Well, I think growing up, yeah, because I was a kid, you know, like
Right.
I didn't have like a lot of. At some point, I was like, I don't even know what my name is in English, you know. So, but slowly but surely, I think because they also held me back 1 year, that was very beneficial. Because when I was in Mexico, I was in the 3rd grade, and because of my birth date, I think I started late or something. The way it falls out here, so they held me back 1 year, and I was in 2nd grade. But that actually turned out to be super awesome because I think, you know, it's grade school. So, you know, it was very early on. So I was able to get a lot of exposure, almost like a normal kid here, you know, that, you know, I only missed a couple of years.
right.
But the fun fact about how I was able to learn English, actually.
Right. We're getting deep into the nitty gritty here.
Yes. And I swear by it. It's PBS Kids.
Oh, really?
It was kids programming, Dragon Tales, like all
Dude,
these-
Dragon Tales went hard, dude.
Dragon Tales went hard, man. Caillou, like all these shows, like were very, very good. Like it was a lot of children's programming, but I mean, it kind of makes logical sense if you think about it as an adult. Like, you know, these shows are focused on like language development through a lot of the environment, you know. So I was already familiar with my vocabulary and you know the environment in Spanish, but now it's associating, you know, the environment in English, and so kind of getting the context of what was going on. Like, I mean, I wouldn't really understand what was happening, but that actually helped me get a lot of confidence. And you know, I was very shy. Like with, you know, I had broken English, I had a heavy accent, and you know, so
Right.
over time, you know, I was like, you know, the only way that I'm going to be able to be more fluent is to not be shy, even if I mess up. And I was always receptive for being corrected, you know, because I did struggle a lot with like my heavy accent. But over time, you know, I think probably by the time I got to high school, I was really, really confident and pretty fluent in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know, just by knowing you, I would have never thought, you know, because everything is so clear and you're real concise with your words. And when you're explaining complicated things, you know,
Yes.
it's very easy to understand. And you could kind of, honestly, you may even take a couple pointers from the shows that you used to watch, because one thing about you is you're a great teacher. And you know, I have experience in you actually were the one who initially trained me.
Yes.
And so, you know, you were able to dumb these ideas, these complicated ideas and methods and protocols and procedures down to a level that was easy to understand, you know? So, yeah, that's very impressive that you were able to do that. And you know, Spanish is one thing that I always wish that I would learn, you know, and would have learned,
Yeah.
but I never did. You know, I grew up in a small country little town, and
Yeah.
and everybody wore camouflage and went duck hunting, and so Spanish was never a thought, and so there, at times my grandmother, she tried to teach me Spanish.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm a country boy. I'm not learning this, spitting.
Yeah.
But, oh yeah, watch out. He'll eat that cookie. Yeah.
He didn't want to be on my lap. He wanted the cookie.
Yeah.
You want to sample the cookie too, Larry? Can he eat cookies?
Yeah, if you want to give him a little bit, but he may you may give him an inch and he may want the full mile, so or the full 6, so.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
No, but speaking of that, you're an interesting cat because you have a very large confidence behind you in the sense of your sexuality and these ideas, these stigmas that you kind of automatically shoot down because it's this public view of sexuality is kind of really misunderstood in these days. And I was hoping that you would come up here and clear up some confusion. So so why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit deeper about yourself and the ideas and ideologies that you have learned over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think this is a very important topic to discuss, especially as not only as a Mexican, but as like a Latino. I think sexuality is something that's very like taboo, and it's kind of like it can be an uncomfortable topic for people to talk about. But sometimes you have to talk about these things because the reason why there's still like a lot of hate and misunderstanding and stereotypes about people from all walks of life, really, not just, people like me, is, ignorance. It's lack of knowledge. It's lack of exposure.
I agree.
And, that gets handed down from generation to generation. So, I think for the most part, like, I think even when we met, I think if I wouldn't have told you like, hey, Jerry, like, I'm Oscar, by the way, like, I'm gay. Like, I like dudes. I don't think you would have, like, picked it up or something.
Right.
And so one thing I've kind of...
My gaydar did not go off. I will say that.
You were like, wait, what?
I was like, this dude's going to beat me with a wrench.
Yeah, so that kind of tends to be the reaction, And it's just, I think, maybe the way I carry myself, But that's just how I grew up, like a lot of my values were, like I said, very like, I was taught like what it was like to be a man, like, a lot of hand labor, things like that, being kind of like a provider, and things of the sort. So that kind of shaped me like to be who I am. But at the same time, like ever since I was a kid, I always like knew something was up.
In what sense?
I was like, hold on, wait a minute, like... Why do I want to like go play with the boys, and like I don't really like girls like that, like
right.
I would gravitate with like the guys and stuff like that, but it was like everybody has little crushes in grade school and even kindergarten, like, oh, that's my little girlfriend, that's my little boyfriend. I mean, obviously I'm in my little town, I can't be like, oh, I wish that kid was my my boyfriend, my pretend boyfriend. Everybody had a pretend significant other. Oh, Larry, you just wanted to... I shouldn't have given him that crumb.
He's sneaky, man. Yeah. He's sneaky.
Here, I'll give you...
Dude, last week, I was rolling a podcast, and in the middle of the podcast, I didn't realize it at the time, but he puts his little paw up here, grabs my AirPods, takes them off, and like, I mean, he was minding his own business, and I hear crunching, and I didn't think anything of it. Well, after the podcast, I said, bye to everybody. And I went over to my my other area in the back, and there was my AirPods just chewed up, destroyed in probably 40 different pieces.
Is that when you told us about that he chewed them, or was this another time?
No, that's
because he's chewed a couple of things during the time when we worked together.
Yeah, he definitely has destroyed some stuff. No, this was just a couple weeks ago.
No. Larry has a history of destroying Jared's stuff.
He doesn't play.
No.
Yeah, no. He'll tear it up. So yeah, he's destructive. But
you wouldn't think with that little cute little face
I
and
know,
those little eyes.
I know.
Yeah.
And then he knows what he does, and he's just like,
Oh, they know. That picture from yesterday, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he knows
yeah,
what he did.
yeah. He took my plant. It took my plant off the windowsill and just destroyed it. So
Yeah.
just one of those things, I guess.
Pretty little face, man.
I know. Well, that's back to the whole sexuality topic. What challenges did you face in accepting your sexuality? Like I said, there's public ideas and public viewpoints that are pretty harsh. So
Sure.
was that a tough challenge for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if you take my journey from like my hometown all the way to even being here, there was nobody that was like openly gay or lesbian or anything in our family. And then I remember when I was back in my hometown, there was this one particular guy, and he was known for being like gay, and he was very flamboyant and things like that.
Right.
But the men of the town, like the straight men of the town, I mean, they would beat him up. Just he wouldn't do anything to them, but just because of who he was, they would say, pardon my French, but they would say, "Oh, we're gonna beat the faggot out of him." And I was like, "Okay, that's what my life is gonna look like. I am never gonna tell people like,
Right.
ever, And I grew up with a lot of fear. I've always been very in touch with my emotions, So like in Latino macho culture, men don't cry. Real men don't cry. So ever since I've been a kid, like if I'm happy, I'm happy. If I'm sad, I'm sad. If I'm angry, I always express my emotions. But if there was ever
Which is healthy.
yeah,
It's healthy.
I mean, come on,
Yeah.
real men cry.
Right.
Real men get angry. Real men talk about how they feel. It takes a real man to expose that vulnerable part of yourself. But growing up, it was, as culture taught us and everything from my area, that was the complete opposite thing to do. You weren't a real man if you cried. It was associated with like weakness. So let's say that, there was something, I tripped over like a rock and I'm crying. My dad would say like, hey, like, don't cry. You're not supposed to cry. Like, man up, get up.
Right.
And so I grew up with a lot of these things. And then moving here to the States, the U.S. is, a more liberal kind of country
Right.
in that regard, where there's a bit more freedom. But even then, I was still kind of tied to my community of, my family, my cousins, and things like that.
Right.
So there's no way that I could ever, I guess, come out and things like that.
Right.
And I was always aware that I'm like, dude, I just kind of gravitate towards guys. I think everybody goes through a phase of curiosity or experimenting,
Right.
especially about around the time that you go through certain hormonal changes.
Yes.
And I think it was probably around middle school going into high school that I was like, you know what, like, I want to make sure that, like, where this lies. So I tried having girlfriends. I tried, being intimate with girls, and I can get the deed done. Okay? I can get the deed done. But there was no, like, how can I say, like, there was no element of, like, attraction where I'm like, wow, like, I'm attracted to her, therefore, like, I can make love to her or things like that. It was more of like, I'm just here to do it.
Right. Yeah. Like a chore almost.
Yeah. And sex shouldn't feel like a chore.
Right.
Intimacy is like a very, very nice thing. It's, in my opinion, it's where two bodies come together and things like that. So I wanted to kind of get that out of, kind of rule that out. For example, like, am I or am I not? Like, well, I could be bi. I could, but, after dating, I didn't have a lot of girlfriends, but a couple that I did, I was like, yeah, no, this isn't for me. This is not for me. And there was a period where I moved to Florida for a couple of years.
Oh, Florida gets frisky.
I mean, this is like my peak years. I
Like,
think it was
like in Miami or what?
It was like Miami, Lauderdale area.
Oh,
And
I've seen a couple cruise ships dock in Cozumel when I was on my ship, and this one was coming out of Florida, and it just looked like they were having the best time ever. A bunch of Speedos. I saw a lot of Speedos.
Oh, it was that cruise.
Yeah, and it looked like they were having the time of their life. I'm sure it was full of poppers and everything, all the goodies. But
by the way, I don't think Jared's talking about jalapeno poppers.
Oh, I'm talking about the other spicy papas.
Oh my
gosh. But yeah, no, it's it's a tough time, and right now it's probably the strongest for like the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Because there's so much support and so much backing from the public out there. Although it's not, not not the backing is not from everybody, but there is more public knowledge now than ever before, So
yeah.
So moving out of that high school realm where you tried relationships with women and things like that, how did you proceed in life after that? Like you found out that it wasn't for you. So
Yeah. So I think where I really like had my 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 coming to moment, I guess, or where I was like, you know what, I accept myself for who I am, and that's okay.
Right.
Again, was during my time in Florida. I was able to go out there. It's like a whole different world. That I had no notion of. Just the environment, the vibe, knowing that there's a swarm of people that are like you or are in a similar walk of life.
Right.
And one of the things that made me sad, when I would kind of interact with Latino people in particular, is that there's all these tragic stories where their parents cast them out, or the dad beat them up, or even the mom, or these very sad stories where there's hate towards them. And I was terrified to do it, but I came out to my parents in 2014. And of all days, I came out to them on Thanksgiving Day.
Hey, how did they respond?
So I thought that my dad, we used to rent a condo out. My sister was my roommate, and we lived on the 14th floor. So I was terrified that my dad was going to push me off that balcony and, sayonara. My mom, I'm super close to my mom, shout out to my mama. She's always loved me.
Shout out mama. Yeah.
Yep. Shout out to the mamas. I didn't think it would be a problem with her. I think she would just be worried, because of, hate, violence, things like that.
Right.
There's, again, and all these things mainly stem from ignorance. But my dad is the one that I was terrified. I was like, oh my God. I remember when the day came, my mom was like, I think we were prepping food with my sister in the kitchen, and she randomly said it. She was like, okay, you know what? She's like, you just need to come out, man. We're like, when are you gonna do it? And I'm like, oh.
Your sister said that?
No, my mom.
Oh, your mom? Wow.
I was like,
Mama don't
God.
play. Yeah.
No, she does not. So I came out to her first. She hugged me, and all she said, you're still my son. I love you.
I mean, of course, yeah.
She's like, I am scared, but we'll figure it out. I was like, okay, cool. And then she goes, okay, well, now I'm going to go Black Friday shopping with your sister, and you can go talk to your dad. And I'm like,
oh, so this was like a one-on-one conversation.
Yes, I told my mom first.
Oh, crap.
And then, dude, I was shaking going to the room. I mean, it's across the halls, kind of not too far from each other,
Right.
a couple of feet, but it felt like the longest run of my life. And I was like, oh, my God, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in there. I was terrified. My dad was laying in the bed, and he's like, so what's up? And I was like, what's good? He's like, I don't know. You tell me. He's like, your mom said you have to tell me something. And I'm like, yeah, but I really don't feel like it. And he's like, it's okay. He's like, it's me. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm scared about. It's you. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, first of all, are you going to throw me off the balcony? And he's like, oh my God, no. What is wrong? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just trying to make sure. I was like, we can talk in the room. We don't have to go to the balcony. And he's like, come on, just, let it out. And I was like, Dad, as long as I can remember, I like guys. I've kind of been seeing guys since I've been over here. And this is who I am. Like, this is part of who I am. And I'm tired of living like a life of, like, I feel like I live a double life, you know? Like, I get tired of my cousins asking, like, oh, like, where's the girlfriend at? Like, oh, hi, primo, you're so handsome. Like, where's the girl at? Like, you know? So it was always that constant pressure from my family, friends, and things like that. And so I was like, I'm just tired of it, you know? Like, I feel like I can't breathe anymore.
Yeah.
And so I finally told him, and he said, I'm very disappointed. And I was like, expected, cool. And so I was like, why are you disappointed? And he's like, because I thought I was your friend, and I wish you would have told me a long time ago. And instead of staying quiet, that's when I took like a bold initiative to tell him why I didn't tell him. And I was like, well, Dad, how could I tell you when I grew up around you hearing you talk vulgar things of people that were like that? Like, how could I, you know, have the courage to share this with you when you made an uncomfortable environment for me to come out to you? And then, you know, that's when he kind of realized, like, oh my gosh. So then that goes back to the point of, like, some of the hatred and all these things are from sheer ignorance or lack of knowledge. And, you know, we spoke about it, and we kind of never said anything ever again. Like, they were just aware, but, you know,
it had to feel like a breath of fresh air for you, though. You know, like, you know, you were finally at that point where you don't have to be anybody else besides yourself, you know, and that had to feel good.
Yeah. And, you know, I think I circled back to Texas because they don't have Whataburger in Florida.
Which is bullshit, by the way.
It's total
know?
BS.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Like, I think Orlando has a Whataburger. But I'm all the way at the bottom, like, you know, like of the tip of Florida. So there's no way I'm going to get a Whataburger.
Dude, speaking of, they have the barbecue chicken sandwich. I don't know. It's like this, like southern style bread, and they have the chicken tenders and then the barbecue sauce. Well, if you replace the barbecue sauce for the honey butter, oh my God, let me just tell you, that is the reason I am fat.
What was the thing you'd say with food? Oh my Lord.
Oh my Lord. Yeah. Yeah. This was me and Oscar, man. We were the best of friends at work, but I have since went to a new lab, and things are good, you know. You know, I guess you got to work everywhere. That's what I'm finding out.
He's thriving. You're thriving. You look good. You look in great shape.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I've been trying to take up a new routine. I've been trying to, you know, I started this and I was like, well, you know, I can't be on camera looking like a chunky monkey. So I better start running, you know. So I'm starting to run in the morning. I run a couple miles, me and Larry, and I'm gonna have to add a little bit extra after these cookies here, but yeah, man, it's been a journey, to say the least, you know, and you know, I have family myself that are also gay, you know, and it's always been normal to me, you know, and a sense of, it, you know, it's not out of the ordinary. I mean, you know, you find people that you love and trust and connect with, and that's it, you know. Like, I mean, when you get in a relationship, you know, and I'm not one to give relationship advice because I've had a list of long failing relationships, but oh my God. But you know, when you find somebody that you thrive with, you know, it makes a huge difference on life, you know.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a girl, a boy, a man, female, male, it doesn't matter. It is, you know, it's just life, you know, and if it works, it works, you know. So
absolutely.
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, you know. And I don't know, man, what I guess this is a topic that we could touch on, but I know that there's a lot of genders coming out of here. What's your opinion on these various genders? And I don't really know all of them, but
to be honest, I don't know a lot of them either.
Okay.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but the only thing that I can tell you is that at the end of the day, no matter what we're calling ourselves or whatever, the thing that people are kind of missing the point on is that one identifier, for example, you, Jared, a straight man, me, Oscar, a gay man, right? That's only like a little part of who you are that contributes to making you who you are, but it's not all of you. And so then sometimes the mistake people make, is to make one quality about them everything about them. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing a lot in mainstream media these days is, and I think something happened in the pandemic because during the pandemic, suddenly all these labels were like born,
Right. Yeah.
and it's a lot to keep up with.
It is a lot to keep up with.
And I don't mean that in a rude way, but what I mean is that I'm not gonna push my beliefs and my style of life onto you. It's more of we respect each other as human beings. We can exist in the same. I mean, look at us. We're having cookies together.
Yeah. Speaking of, which cookies next?
Oh,
I made the first call. I'll let you make the second call.
dude, I'm a peach cobbler guy, so I'm kind of curious about that one.
Dude, I'm glad that you said that because the person that was in front of me ordered 12 peach cobbler cookies when I was there. So
Damn.
they have to be good. So
Yeah.
go ahead and take your choice on piece there. I'm a big fan of peach cobbler.
With ice cream. Oh my god.
Oh,
Bluebell
my
ice
God,
cream.
don't be telling me that, man. I love ice cream so much. Is it good? Oh.
I'm gonna have to run, but
Oh my God, this is amazing. I think, what is that, oatmeal? Is it an oatmeal based cookie with peach cobbler icing?
let me dissect it.
I think that's what it is. That would be my
I feel like
initial
it's an
guess.
oatmeal base. I don't know what the icing is, but dude,
It's fantastic.
it's
Yeah.
an explosion of flavors.
I didn't know that Crumble Cookie they swap out their cookies weekly. They only offer 6 flavors each week, and they're all different. So I didn't know that. I guess that's what makes them appealing because it's never the same. It's always being adjusted, and you'll never go there and get, I guess, the same cookie twice. So yeah, I love cookies, man. I'm a big fan of cookies. I think actually yesterday I had a guy on, and he was talking about the joys of going to this place called something. It's called Milk and Cookies or something like that.
Oh god, I don't know.
Do you know?
No milk and cookies.
Let's see. I'm actually just going to type this in on Google, and let me see.
Milk and cookies.
Tiny's. It's called Tiny's Milk and Cookies.
Never.
It's over on let's see.
Rice Boulevard?
Rice Boulevard, 3636 Rice Boulevard. Tiny's Milk and Cookies. Shout out Tiny's Milk and Cookies. I've never had them, but I'm going to have to try them because I've heard great things.
And they're a cookie place like them?
Yeah, I heard they were better. But
Really?
I don't know. That's just what I was told. So don't shoot the messenger on that one. So. But yeah, man, life is crazy. And earlier you had touched on the the idea of parental influence.
Yes.
On this whole sexuality journey. And I think that's big, because it's really respectable that you as a man have come out and accepted who you are and accepted that the public will view you however they want to view you.
Absolutely.
But you are who you are.
Yep.
But I think that there's people that are even older that haven't had the courage to do what you have already done, years ago. And
I have a perfect real life example for that actually.
Oh, okay. Well, let's dive in.
My old boss / friend from Florida.
Okay.
He got married to his partner and came out simultaneously. It all happened in a span of like setting the wedding invite and everything. I'm not gonna say his name obviously for privacy's sake and stuff, but he waited until he was, I think, 65 is when he got married to his partner.
Oh, wow.
And you're talking about decades of hiding.
Right.
And I got to meet some of his close friends that I was, cool with. There's this straight couple that's super nice, and none of his siblings knew. But he waited until his parents died. And I think in a way, seeing the hardships he went through and having to hide partners as he's my assistant or he's my roommate or he's my friend, you know, to an extent it showed the generational fear that carried all these years with him. And seeing that was kind of a pivotal point for me, because I said, that's not the life that I want. I don't want to wait until I'm 65 to be myself and to love someone or, you know, explore that part of me. And, you know, I took his experience as a catalyst to encourage me to come out to my family, because I was like, dude, I'm in my 20s. I'm not going to wait, you know,
right,
so many years to do it. But this is more common than you think, you know. We live in such a modern day and age today, but there's still so much work to do. I think we've made progress, but there's a lot of work to do, you know. Yeah. I think if you were to ask me, like, you know, if we're kind of like keeping up with times and stuff, I don't think any kid, whether Hispanic or non-Hispanic, whatever, coming out should not be a task. It should not be a 10+ year ordeal, you know, because it's at the end of the day, we're just human beings, you know. Nobody's perfect, you know, but again, like the thing around sexuality can be uncomfortable for people, and there's a lot of misconceptions. I mean, oh God, misconceptions they make it worse, you know. Like I remember growing up, like in, you know, TV and stuff, like any like comedy shows or skits, the gay guy was portrayed as someone like colorful, like this nice confetti cake cookie that was very flamboyant, had a lot of like,
but flavorful, baby, flavorful.
So, you know, you're already being conditioned to think a gay person has to look like this. And so then when I was coming out to, like, you know, family, extended family, friends, people were like, what? You are? They're like, but you don't look like... I was like, whoa, what is a gay person supposed to look like? There's no one defined way that you know, look at all these cookies. They all look different. There's still a cookie, you know, gay, straight people, you know, they all look different, but we're still people. We're still human. We're made of flesh and bone and blood. Like, we have the same common ingredient. And that's one thing that I've slowly been like, I guess just through me being myself, have been kind of educating people without really realizing it, is, you know, we come in many different forms. Sure. You know, like I said, I've always been in touch with my masculine side, and it's not that, like, you know, I'm in denial of, you know, being a gay man and stuff like that, but that's just who I am, you know. Again, my sexuality is part of who I am, but my my masculine tendencies are part of who I am, and all these things all together make up what is standing before you right now, you know. So it's been, you know, it's been an interesting journey, like, you know, having people like learn, you know, that you can look more than one way, you know, and that's perfectly fine.
I think people need to understand that, you know, that, you know, we're all just people, and we come in various forms, and who we are. I mean, technically we are just these spirits locked inside this body of flesh, and you know, it is what it is, and, you know, everybody's different, and you know, everybody likes different things, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know. Nothing wrong with that at all.
But there's
Love on a Spectrum. Have you seen that show?
No,
neither have I. You know?
I think it's about special education people, right? That that date or something. Or am I talking about the wrong thing?
I have no idea, actually.
Oh my gosh.
We may need to look this up. Actually, I'm gonna chat GPT it real quick.
Oh my gosh, you and your chat GPT. Oh my god, where was chat GPT when we needed it during the pandemic?
Oh my god.
They brought it out after we graduated.
Holy crap. Okay.
Is it what I told you?
It's yeah, it's Love on a Spectrum is a reality TV show that follows individuals on the autism spectrum as they navigate complexities of dating and relationships. Wow.
I think now that I think of it, I saw a preview about it. And it is like the cutest thing.
Really?
Yeah, they're just so affectionate and stuff.
Oh,
It's amazing.
I need to get on that show. Yeah, I'm loving and affectionate. Okay.
Jared. Just when I think you're done surprising me.
I know. You know, it never stops. I have these thoughts, man.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah.
So hopping into, we were talking about kind of the injustices of having various sexualities, but what about just the Hispanic community in general? Are there any instances where you being a Hispanic male that you've come into an interaction where there's like an injustice or profiling that you may have witnessed or experienced within your time here in the U.S.?
So I think, like for me personally, in my experience, I have not. But again, that goes because of how I don't appear like again, like first glance, you look at me and you see like heteronormative qualities in me. Like the first thing when you look at me, it's not like, hey, I think this dude's gay,
Right.
Because I'm like working on a car or like building something with my hands. So you're like,
Right.
But what I have heard throughout my entire life around Hispanic communities and like the macho culture is people speaking vulgar. Like let's say somebody that is evidently like gay or could be gay, oh yeah, like look at that dude. Just very like mean, hateful comments or something like that. And it's crazy how people think that they feel empowered to belittle or talk about someone that they don't even know,
I know, and it's common these days, man.
Oh,
it's so common.
super common.
And especially the keyboard warriors. They always have something to say about somebody.
Those keyboard warriors, man.
Yeah, they stay active, man.
Very.
But then
very
you get them in public and they're like,
oh yeah, they would never square up.
No,
to you.
absolutely not.
Like in your face. No. Like 99.9% of the things they tell you behind the little screen, they would never have the guts to tell you in person.
Yeah.
And then that adds another layer of negativity. People find it so easy to hide behind the screen and talk bad about someone.
It's so common. So many slugs out there, like just trying to cause hate, and in the comfort of their own little zone,
Yep, their own little corner, man. They just stay hating.
So what about the dating scene here in Houston? How has that experience been with you?
Ooh. Okay. So I think gay Houston is like small, but it's a close-knit community too.
I'm just saying, I've partied with the gays in Montrose.
Oh, dude,
it
Montrose
goes
can get lit.
hard. The first time my friend was like, hey, let's go into this place. And I think we initially went into JR's.
Oh, usually everybody starts at JR's. Yeah. JR's is like the melting pot where like, all what do you call it? All sexual orientations,
right.
Gay, straight, everybody flocks to JR's.
They were doing a drag show when I went in.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
it was the first drag show I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, I was getting into it. I mean, they had some good music playing and real upbeat and happy. So
I want to ask something. Did anybody touch you?
No.
Did anybody like try to hit on you like that?
Nope.
See, that's like another thing. There's this negative connotation of, oh, you're a gay guy. Like, oh, therefore, like, oh, don't touch me, bro. I'm like, dude, you're even ugly in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you're not. Do not flatter yourself. You're not that cute, okay? Like, you're not even my type.
Yeah.
So sometimes people make this mistake of, again, these like preconceived notions of like, you are this, therefore you do that, and without even getting to know you. And so I think, on the contrasting end of things, like, dude, you're like a straight dude. I think you're as straight as they come. But I think it speaks numbers when someone that is like heterosexual is comfortable enough in their own skin to know that, if a gay person hugs you, that doesn't mean that they're coming on to you or that suddenly you're gay,
Right.
again, it's just people being people, existing, having a good time. And
it was a good time too. We got real drunk. I mean, we partied hard. Like, I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah,
And honestly, I feel like that whole community is so supportive just for whatever, you know. I think everybody was calling me an ally. They were like, oh yeah, he's an ally, you know. And so, I mean, it was awesome. We started off at JR's, hopped over somewhere else, ended up at the Eagle.
Oh, the Eagle. Okay.
Holy! I walked in there. I was like, I mean, this was my first exposure to gay Houston, and I was like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
they're going hard, you know. It was a good time, but yeah, no. And here's the thing, you know, being a straight male in that environment, I felt more safe and more, you know, at ease than in like a straight bar, you know,
Yeah.
because in the straight bar, everybody's just, they're trying to be big macho.
Too much
and
testosterone.
yeah, and the women are all there just trying to get some, you know, and then, you know, you go to, you know, somewhere in Montrose and everybody is just like chilling.
Yeah,
like,
we're just trying to have a good time, bro.
calm, you know, no, there's nobody's fighting or nobody's trying to be the bigger guy, you know.
Exactly.
So it's
very like warm and inviting. You
Yes,
know,
yeah.
like I typically, like, I don't go out there as much, but when I do, I go out with my girls.
Mm.
Y'all know who you are. And it's fun. I mean, the girls feel safe, you know.
Right.
We have a great time. We dance, you know. And it's awesome.
What's your favorite spot out there?
I would say, don't judge me. Sometimes I go just for the taco truck. There's a taco truck next to JR's that has really good tacos.
Oh, really? What kind? Like what kind of taco?
Like Mexican street tacos.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the quesadillas are good too. So
I love me some
sometimes,
quesadillas.
yeah. If I'm going for like mainly the food, I go for that taco truck that's there.
Do you know what it's called?
Dude, no.
Okay.
Just look for the one that's next to JR's.
Okay.
Sometimes they're in between South Beach and JR's, but for the most part, they're off to the side. Like next to, you know how it has that patio? It's typically next to the patio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tacos slap.
They're good?
Yes.
Dude, oh, also, can you put me on to some like authentic Mexican food here in Houston?
Come to my house.
What, you know, because I feel like everything around here is just Tex-Mex, you know, and
Either that or like gentrified. If you want authentic, you want to look for things that are kind of like hole in the wall, as they say. The more hole in the wall it looks, the better. There's actually a taco place really close to where I get my haircuts. That's close to where I went to school. It's off of Southwest Freeway. It's next to a Domino's. If you drove past it, you would never think that they have food there. But it's like a tortilleria. Like it's a like a tortilla factory. So they make like fresh tortillas. And they have really good like barbacoa tacos.
oh my God.
So good.
Dude, have you ever heard of, oh shoot, now I I made the mistake of mentioning it and then I forgot the name. But
You want some more?
dang, I'm actually going to look this up. I mean, it's literally right down the road.
Oh, really?
But they have the best tacos that I've ever had in my life.
Is it authentic Mexican or?
I feel like it is. I mean, they have the meat that's rotating. and
Oh,
they
el
slice
taco de
it off.
trompo. Yeah.
It's called Tio Trompo.
Oh, Tio Trompo?
Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So the trompo is like the little kebab thing that rotates. So that's what we call trompo. And typically like that's where you
Trompo.
do al pastor tacos. You know, it's like
Yes.
the layers. Typically it's pork. People are gonna hate me for saying this, but like the way it's like prepped, from what I know, is that they put like little slices of pineapple in between the stacks of meat, and that's what gives it that nice like little like almost like hint of sweet flavor. But yeah, that's like pastor tacos. Yeah. Oh, those are good.
That makes me so hungry. Actually,
know, I want some
love
ta- I
food.
want some
love
tacos
food
now.
so much, man. I just have a deep love for food, and
Yeah, dude. Oh, I love food.
it sucks because I want to be fit, but I also love food. So I mean, we're at a pretty tough a tough spot in life. So
Absolutely. I get you there. I love food too.
oh man. So have you talking about the dating? Have you ever hopped on Grinder? Is this like a thing you want to touch on?
I plead the fifth. No, I'm kidding. Man, this peach powder cookie is so good.
I know.
Yeah. I would be a hypocrite if I told you that I didn't. I think in the modern day that we live in, you know, we have the world at our fingertips, or dating at our fingertips. I think everybody, for the most part, in their journey, will get on Grindr. You know, I think it's like the typical thing, shot heard around the world. Everybody knows what Grindr is. Everybody knows what that notification sounds like. You know, so if your boyfriend, girls, has a little notification like that, you might want to check. You know, and there's other ones, but I think the only two that I was ever kind of active on was like Grindr and Scruff. But the thing about it is,
I don't think I've ever heard of Scruff. That's just the same thing?
yeah, but I think there's different apps for different. I don't want to call them tribes, but like Scruff it's supposed to be more for like rugged man, like beer.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like
yeah,
things
Scruff.
like that. Grindr is more like, you know, it's like the general one that everybody knows about, and you know, it has everything there. But it's you know, like I said, Houston's pretty small. Like, and by Houston I mean Houston surrounding areas, and eventually, like in my experience, like you end up seeing the same people. We live in a capitalist society, so like, you know, back when Grindr was kind of like new and stuff, like there were a lot of features available in the free version, and I've never paid for an app, I'll tell you that much. But you know, nowadays, like in order for you to have access to, like, I think you get like a given amount of
like 10 likes or something.
you get a given amount of profiles that you can see, right? And then after that, they're like faded, and then you have to like subscribe or pay, or, you know. And so the pool becomes, it's already small as it is, but it becomes much smaller. So then you know, you're encountering the same people all the time. The majority of the time, it's someone that's not like, that you're not like attracted to, or that, you know, they don't appeal to you. And that's perfectly fine to say, you know, because you can't force yourself to engage with someone that you're not like,
oh God, I know,
interested in. You know what I mean?
I know.
So I've had some, you know, there's been good experiences, and there's also been like some scary experiences.
Like, what do you mean by scary?
Catfished. Oh my God, Jerry.
Oh God, I'm all ears.
Dude. You know, I think this was, oh God, like, it was a few years back, maybe like, I want to say like, maybe 2016-ish, 2017 probably.
Okay.
2017 tops.
You're in Houston.
I'm in Houston. I'm in college. Oh, and I'll touch base about that too later. But you know, like the thing about me is like sometimes I would download the app, get bored, delete it. Most of the time I wouldn't do anything. And then like that one time I was messaging with someone, and it was like a very attractive person, you know, like I'm like, oh yeah, like this is awesome. Like, you know, we're messaging back and forth, and you know, a learning experience nonetheless. So, you know, we're kind of talking about, yeah, like you want to meet up tonight, like, you know, it's very direct, like to the point, you know.
Right.
And you know, I'm driving there, and one thing about me is like when I do this, you know, after watching Jeffrey Dahmer, like all these things,
God, that movie was
you know,
scary. Honestly,
yeah.
I saw the first episode, and I'm like, oh.
But you know us, we just go. And but just out of precaution, like I always share like my location with a couple of friends. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go over there, and they're like, what are you doing at 3 a.m, dude? Like, what the heck? Like, you should be asleep. Like, you have class tomorrow. And it's like, oh, it'll be quick, whatever. So I get there, I get to the address, and it's like a 30-minute drive. So I'm like, oh, dude, like, what the hell? And then, you know, when you start getting that gut feeling where you're like, you always got to listen to the gut, Jared. Yeah. The gut is never wrong. And, you know, I get there and, you know, so I'm like, hey, like I'm outside. And he's like, you know, so there's this like nice BMW parked outside. And I was like, okay, like very well trimmed grass. And then on the other side, like the house adjacent to it is like, no lights are on. There's a beat up Volvo, like station wagon with like with like a broken window and stuff. And so I was like, yeah, like I was like, hey, like, are you in? Is this the house where the Beamer is parked outside? And then he goes, well, actually, it's the house next to it with the Volvo. And I'm like, okay, maybe. Yeah. Look at how messed up, right? I was like, maybe it's out of precaution. You don't want to share your address. You know, you want to make sure it's the person, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, okay, cool. You know, that's not a problem. And then, you know, at that point, that's when I should follow my instinct and then just leave. But do I leave? No. I'm like, this dude's super hot. You're on a mission. Yes, I'm determined. I'm like, this dude's super hot. You know, this is the only like good hit I got.
Let's dive into this. Is that
like a what do they call these things?
Cookies and cream crispy.
Yes.
Crispy bar. That's what it had on the website.
Dude, you're gonna give me diabetes by the time we're done with these.
That's my plan.
I'm gonna need diabetes. So yeah, oh my God, Jared. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm ignoring all the red flags at this point. And so he's like, yeah, like, you know, just come in, door's unlocked. And I text my friend, I'm like, dude, I think I'm messing up right now, but I'm still gonna go in. I go in, it's dark, it smells terrible. It looks like I step into an episode of Hoarders.
Oh, God.
There's debris, trash, like just piles of stuff. And there's this long hallway. And off to the left, there's like light coming from a room. And I was like, hello? And he's like, I'm over here. And I'm like, I'm like walking, creepy. Like,
the floor is going creaking as you step.
But I'm still walking.
I feel like he should have at least met you outside, you know? Like,
yeah, but my dumbass didn't do that. I'm like, dude, he's super hot. It's going to be worth it. Whatever. I get there. I walk in. There is adult content being played on this, like, it's like 80s, you know, content. Adult content being played, like, on this old TV. And I look to my right, and there's this very, very big, heavy-set man. And he's, like, naked. Obviously, this is not the person that was on the pictures. And he's like, hey, like, it's really you. Like, I'm glad you came. And I'm like, I like freeze, you know? And so I was like, he's like, come on, sit down, like, right here. And I was like, you mind giving me a second? And I was like, I forgot the condoms in the car. and I was like, I'm gonna go get them real quick. And then he's like, well, I have some here. Bitch, I ran. I ran for my life. And he goes, where you going? And I'm like, oh, hell no.
Oh, my. Well, you know he wasn't going to catch you, you know? Like, at that
But what if he had, like, a trap or something?
My God.
Oh, my God, dude. My heart was racing. And, like, I, like, spat the fuck off. And I was like, oh, hell to the no. I'm like, I am never doing this shit again.
Oh, my God.
I was like... No.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, dude, it was, I think that's probably like ingrained in my brain now. Like, it's one of the most terrifying experiences.
That may have been a good learning experience, you know.
Oh my God, dude, but like, I survived. Like, you know, I would have been an episode of 60 Minutes or something. I thought about reporting this person or something, but I was like, I don't know if I should do that. So I let it be, and I was like, delete, you know, delete the app or whatever. And then after that, you know,
that man's gonna run you down in that Volvo.
I don't even think that thing ran, bro. Like, I think that thing didn't work.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's crazy things out there, you know, and you definitely have to watch out for it. That just shows you that it's not just women that need to be worried, you know. It's everybody, you know, no matter who they are or what they look like or how strong you are,
Yeah.
because it's, I mean, yeah, like people, there's some crazy people out
Yeah.
there.
Evil is an equal opportunity destroyer.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It has no face. It has no name.
Mm.
There's all sorts of evil out there. But yeah, that's that's like the.
Do you have any like success stories?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, you know this person. I actually met Jay, who is my ex, but we're good friends now.
Right.
I met him there,
Ah.
my senior year of college,
Wow.
and to this day I don't know how this man popped up on my radar per se.
Right.
Because again, I don't pay for the additional features or whatever. Jay lived in Austin, and I'm over here in Houston, and we still haven't figured out how he popped up on my radar.
Man, you never know. Like things just happen as they should,
Yeah.
And you guys actually had a long lasting relationship. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
we were together for like about 3 years.
Wow.
And
That's
I mean-
longer than any of my relationships. They last probably like a year max, and then we're both like, you're crazy. The other person's like, you're crazy. And it's time, man.
Well, they have that cliche saying that when people when gay couples are together, like, oh, we've been together for 3 years. They're like, oh my God, that's almost like 9 straight years.
Yeah.
It's like dog years.
Dog years, yeah.
So yeah, I was almost together with him for like a dog decade.
Wow.
And yeah, no, that's a super awesome success story because out from that relationship, I was actually able to overcome a lot of other barriers throughout my journey as like a gay man. He was the first person that I'm a very wolf pack person. Like I'm very selective about who I bring near my family and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And
yeah, you have to be, man.
he was the person that I introduced to my family. My siblings got to meet him. My mom. You already going for it?
Let's go in.
Okay.
For the flamboyant cookie.
Yeah, the confetti cookie. Mm. Mm. Mm.
It packed a punch because it's like crunchy. It's like that crunchy base.
I don't know how I feel about the icing.
It's definitely thick. It's on the thicker side,
Yeah, 2 C's and a K and a E. That's still my number one.
I think so too. Yeah. So far, the peach cobbler, cobbler cookie is definitely number one.
That's number one for me right now.
Yeah. So far, the ones that we've tried, I think the peach cobbler, and then obviously I like the milk chocolate chip, and then I would say oh my goodness, which ones did we have yet? Peach
The
cobbler.
cookies and cream crispy bar. We got the milk chocolate, we got the peach cobbler, and we just had the confetti cake.
Confetti cake's probably the lowest on the totem pole at the moment.
Yeah, I would say.
But it still wasn't bad though. It reminds me of those those Walmart cookies almost.
The sugar cookies.
Yeah, but they go hard. They go hard,
I
and
would
especially
prefer
at the
the
right time.
Walmart sugar cookie over this one though.
Ah, yeah, this is like the fancy Walmart.
Yeah,
sugar
this
cookie.
one hit me like in the opposite direction. You know how the peach cobbler one was like, whoa, explosion.
Yeah.
This one was like, ooh.
We should have had the peach cobbler last. I don't know. I feel like this one. I'm gonna go in for it. I'm gonna go in for it.
Is that like butter? What is that? Skillet cookie. Is that butter? Is that like a stick of butter?
I don't know.
Now you're gonna make me try it.
It's like this. It's like the filling that's inside of like donuts, maybe. When donuts are like filled with the cream and stuff.
It's a cream filling, I think.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
it's really good though. I think it's a chocolate chip base with whatever that is, and then it's drizzled with chocolate, which is really good.
It's like mellow.
It is like a mellow.
It's not like in your face.
I think that one actually tops the average, the regular milk chocolate chip.
I haven't tried the full thing, so let me take a full bite.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much. I think it's a milk chocolate chip base It's good. I feel like that's one that would be really good with some like vanilla ice cream. Well,
Dude, I thought that was butter.
I know we're already deep into it, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. I'll let you.
Rinse it.
So
This is the circus and
this one's interesting.
yeah. Let me see.
It's interesting because what would you call these little like candy pebble things?
Candy pimple. I don't know. Sprinkles?
Sprinkles, yeah.
Round sprinkles?
Mini round sprinkles. The whole cake is filled with these sprinkles, and you know, like all sprinkles, they're crunchy. So when you eat them, it's like crunching in your mouth. You know.
I think I have my rating already.
Okay, go for it.
Up for first place would for sure be the peach cobbler. Like, I wish there was 2 of those right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Second in place would be the skillet cookie,
Okay.
surprisingly. And then after that, I would go with the one we just had right now with the circus animal. And then this one's... Then I would say the milk chocolate chip, the cookies and cream crispy bar, and then obviously last place, the confetti. The confetti was... Oof.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
The confetti was like that catfish, dude.
Yes.
Happened to me.
I'm gonna say. First is the peach cobbler. Then I'm going with also the skillet cookie.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna go with the cookies and cream crispy bar. I think
Okay.
that one was good.
Yeah, that one wasn't bad.
And then I'll go regular milk chocolate chip, circus animal, and then confetti cake.
Yeah, dude, confetti cake is...
Yeah, it was.
Watch out for the confetti cakes of hookup culture, guys.
Yeah, it was on the downside, but
Yeah.
that's okay. It's okay. It was worth a shot. And
That's a lot of sugar, bro.
I don't think I want any more cookies for a long time.
Yeah, dude, I think this is my cookie fix for... I'm lying. I'm saying it's going to be for the year, but I'll be back in a couple of months.
I'm gonna see a photo on Instagram later with you and them cookies and a big old scoop of ice cream.
Oh, dude, I got a gallon of Bluebell ice cream.
Dude, I love Bluebell ice cream. Bluebell's the best, man. Bluebell is like top notch. Like, I don't want anything besides Bluebell if I'm eating ice cream. Because if I'm going to eat ice cream, let me just say, when I do eat ice cream, I blow up like a balloon. So when I'm picky. And so if I am going to blow up like a balloon, I want to blow up like a balloon with good quality ice cream. And that's
a good
just
way to look at it.
That's just a fact. So
Yeah.
like trying to
Is
suck in
Bluebell
on
a
it, man.
Texas thing or is it like nationwide?
I think it's no. It's definitely I think
You know what I
maybe
mean? I know it's
maybe
based
like a
out of
southern
Brenham.
thing, yeah.
I know it's out of Brenham, but I don't know if it's
Okay.
if it's
Chat GPT is going to be my best friend. Here's what my question is going to be. Does Bluebell distribute
nationwide.
nationwide? No. It says Bluebell actually is not distributed nationwide. They're based out of Brenham, Texas, and they primarily distribute in the southern United States. So it includes Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It actually says a couple parts of the Midwest also, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. So yeah, I'm glad that at least a little bit of the United States is blessed with Bluebell.
Oh, dude,
It's necessary. I mean, like, you know.
And I'm a classic vanilla dude.
Like I like vanilla. If I have vanilla ice cream, I want to put cinnamon in it.
Yeah, I actually did that.
Is that called something? Is that like a specific name?
Goodness,
Heaven.
heaven in a bowl. Like my go-to is, I think like 2 or 3. Yeah, 3 versions.
Oh.
My top version is like a warm peach cobbler with a scoop on top, right?
That's why you're a big fan of that peach cobbler.
Dude, yes, I love peach cobbler. And then another version is, I think, how they do it at TGI Fridays or something. But it's either like a hot brownie or a hot fudge cake with the ice cream scoop on top. And
oh my God.
the other version, which is what I had the other day, HEB has these like brownie bites.
Oh,
You know the brownie bites, right?
no,
Oh my god, bro!
I know.
There's these like little tiny like they're like this size. They're like baby brownies, basically. That's what they're called, brownie bites. But they're so good.
They're good.
Yeah, so I put that on a bowl. I warm up the little brownie bites. I usually put like 4 on the bottom.
Right.
Put 2 scoops of ice cream, drizzle some dulce de leche and condensed milk,
Oh my goodness.
and sprinkle some cinnamon, like you said. And then I put 1 little brownie on top.
Oh my God. I actually had his name is Texas Pie Guy, and he was on here, and he makes like smoked pecan pies, and he makes some really good stuff. I mean, it's very good quality
pecan
stuff.
pie too.
You would definitely love his pecan pie because it's really good. But he gave me some advice if I want to make anything like ice cream based. He said that there's a couple of his pies that he has that he likes to put in a blender with ice cream. He said he'll blend it up, and he said he could drink it like a shake.
Yeah, it's
And
almost
he
like making a
said,
milkshake,
He said
right?
it's the best thing ever.
I've heard people make cakes with ice cream. It's like
Yeah,
an ice
yeah.
cream cake recipe or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
supposedly comes out super good.
I've had an ice cream cake before, and it was so good.
No,
you know what
not ice cream cake. Like like a regular ice cream, like a regular cake, but they use ice cream almost like as a batter base almost, and then they add flour and egg, but you add the ice cream as an ingredient, like the actual ice cream. Not ice cream cake, but you use ice cream as an ingredient to make a traditional like fluff, a sponge cake.
Oh,
And it's supposed to be super
God.
good.
That sounds amazing, honestly.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of cheesecake?
Yeah.
I love cheesecake.
But I would say between cheesecake and like tres leches cake.
Oh.
Tres leches. I mean, I'm Mexican. Come on.
I've had some tres leches.
One of them
hold on.
Triple cakes. Yeah. Let me get one of them Triple cakes.
Tres leches.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm Hispanic.
You're Hispanic.
It's in my blood. I got to practice.
I thought you were Hispanic when I first met you.
I am.
Not your last name though. Your last name begs to differ.
Brought him. Yeah.
He brought him here.
Yeah. We brought him here. We brought him to the top.
Get his Larry?
Yeah.
Is Larry Hispanic too?
Larry is Hispanic. Yes.
I guess his Hispanic name would be Lázaro.
Lázaro. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Lázaro. His middle name is Curtis. My middle name is Curtis. My brother's middle name are Curtis. So we're all Larry Curtis, Jared Curtis.
I don't have a middle name.
Are you serious?
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
I don't
They were
know.
Just like, nah,
I think my parents decided to keep it even. So my sister, actually no. Oh my God.
we just hit a moment there. Like,
Yeah. My sister's the only one that has a middle name. All the boys, we do not have a middle name. But I think what I'm confusing it with is our last names. So like in Mexico or in a lot of like Latino like culture, you have your last name and your mother's maiden name, you know? So like me, I'm like Benitez Solis. But there's 2 of us that have our legal name like that. And then there's 2 of us that have just Benitez. And for me, I'm just Benitez.
whoa.
Yes. And I feel offended because I was actually born in Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah, like I was like homegrown in Mexico.
Wow.
I am a naturalized citizen since 2004, so don't come for me.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Well, you've had a really interesting journey so far up to this point. You know, I know you're not done. You're a smart cookie. You know, you are a smart cookie. All right. And
I'm like that peach cobbler cookie.
and anything that you put your mind to, I know that you will accomplish. So,
Thank you.
So yeah, keep on doing what you're doing. So is there anything you want to clear up before we end this bad boy?
Absolutely. Be kind.
Yeah.
You don't know what people's journeys are like. We're all just trying to make it out here. And I think give yourself the opportunity to step out of your comfort zone in the sense of be willing to get to know other people. There's a saying that I like that says that ignorance leads to chaos. And that's kind of what we live in today. So, give yourself the opportunity to get to know other people. And then, that doesn't mean you have to go out of your way and, like parade and all that stuff, but more like just be intentional in acknowledging that at the end of the day, they're a human being. Kind of like I said earlier, we're all made of flesh and bone. We all got blood running through our veins. We all have a soul, which I think is something beautiful that you said. And all of that looks different, but that's what makes us unique. And instead of focusing on our differences to separate us or divide us, I think we should focus on the differences to unite us. And I think that's where we make the mistake as humanity. We focus on how different we are so that we can segregate ourselves, but we all live on that same little marble. We all live on Earth.
Right. And I guess looking at it in kind of an analogy, you can't be a good football team if you're just full of running backs.
Exactly.
You need linemen, you need offense, a defensive team. You need a full spectrum of people to win and be successful. So
Absolutely.
I think that's very very true in everything that you said, and I'm glad that we were able to chat about this and kind of clear the air on a lot of things, because there's a lot of misconceptions in this world, and
Sure.
not just in sexuality, but also in other aspects, and I think that it's very important for people to just love one another and
Yep.
no matter what, accept people for who they are, because that's who they are. Why would anybody have to change because of your viewpoint? So I don't really understand how people can't understand that, because it's such common sense thing,
Yeah.
because we are all people, and we all are made of this flesh and blood, and everybody has their own personal life. And so I have a shirt from somebody that says, dang, now I'm gonna mess it up, but it's I'm actually gonna pull it up because I think it's very a very important message.
Yeah.
And let me see.
I think Larry's favorite cookie is officially the skillet cookie.
Yeah.
He's been eating the skillet cookie the whole time.
Let's see. So it says, trans people existing does nothing negative to your life, you crybaby bitch. And it's such a good message, because, people are offended by other people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it literally does nothing to their life. It does nothing to affect them in any sort of way. And so I think that that's a strong message and a good message to live by, because, people are cruel, and like we were talking about, especially keyboard warriors. And I think that, overall as a community, as humans on this earth, we need to be more accepting. So cheers to that. Well,
Yes,
if you want to give a shout out to anybody or send a message in Spanish, I know you're a very, very fluent Spanish speaker. If you would actually do this for me.
What's up?
Tell my grandma I said hey in Spanish, but in Spanish.
What's your grandma's name?
Estela.
Estela. Señora Estela, aquí le mando saludos de parte de su nieto, Jared. Or how I used to tell you, Jared.
Yared. Well, very cool, Mr. Oscar. Well, I appreciate you for doing this.
Dude, thank you for having me. This
And-
is like, it's been super awesome. It's been a sweet experience.
I like that. Can where can people find you at?
Yeah, so you could find me on Instagram. Like I mentioned earlier, we didn't touch a lot on that, but that's super cool. I love to cook, so I have like a little cooking page. It's at Oscar_cooking. Or if you want to follow my personal one, and you're free to tag me and stuff, it's a TX__Oscar, Texas Oscar.
Yeah, and one thing that I really like about your page, because I when I'm scrolling through, my feed. Like yours is one that I definitely watch through.
Thank you.
Because you're a very interesting character, and you are in touch with your emotions, and I think that's what makes it genuine and just yeah, his little claws need to be trimmed. So yeah, don't let that. Yeah,
it's all right.
But yeah, man.
He was scratching for a while. I was like, ow.
Yeah, but yeah, you keep on doing what you're doing, and
Thank you.
and thank you for being a good example for people in this world that may be confused or misunderstood in some form or fashion. And I guess that's actually a good question to end on is, what advice would you give to somebody that is scared to make that that awareness for their sexuality and their fear to maybe come out?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to break this into two parts because I think there's two important components. Obviously, to the person that is, that's going through that experience themselves, that are, having questions about their sexuality or, their journey. I think you're given two families. You're given your blood family, and then you're given your non-blood family, i.e. like friends and things of the such. So definitely there is fear behind it, but don't be afraid to seek out these people. And I think what will help you going in is like expect that there is a possibility that they might reject you because they're not ready or they're not educated. And obviously if you're able to tell your parents, that's very liberating, and especially if you're close to your family. Right. Some of us are fortunate to be close to our family, so that's who we start, and then we kind of branch out into our bigger circles. And the other part is, if you're a parent, just love your kid. I don't have any kids, but if I had a child, like, I cannot see myself rejecting what I created. That's my baby.
Right.
There's many, parents that reject their children just because of their sexual orientation. And so, like, my thing to parents out there is, love your child because they're already going through it as it is. And, if you are the closest thing to safety, as their safe environment that suddenly does not provide a nourishing and safe environment, then they feel like they're lost. They feel like there's no hope for them, because you are their first home. You are their first experience as well. So, and take the time to learn, like grow together, because I grew with my parents during this journey, my siblings as well. And as of recent too, with like extended family, like cousins and stuff. It's been amazing, don't be afraid to ask questions for the sake of getting educated. But above all, be loving. If you're the parent, be loving to your kid. Because, again, you're their baby. So there's way worse things out there in the world that, that would possibly constitute you disowning your child. I think of extremes like being like a serial killer or something like that.
Right.
Your child being gay is not as terrible as a serial killer in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not terrible at all. Yeah, it is what it is. Well, that's very beautiful, man. And again, thank you for standing up for those who don't have the courage to stand up yet for themselves. And thank you for coming, man. Thank you for talking about this.
Thank you for having me.
I know it's a pretty controversial subject for some people, but yeah, man, I think you hit it on the nail on the head. So
thank you.
I appreciate this.
Appreciate it, bro.